A New Hope, Nier Chapter 157 Fan Fiction by Azazyel. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel for listening and patreon.com/Azazyel to read all of his stories. Glowing blue veins of corrupting Phazon pushed into Radahn's form, and I could feel and hear the deep agonized groan coming from him as I used my gap semblance to force the Phazon to replace Malenia's crimson rot within his body and mind. And that rot was certainly in his mind. As Radahn's great rune was the rune of strength itself, and I could feel the rune being literally the only reason why he was still actually alive now. Granted, his mind was twisted and rotted by the conceptual rot that filled his body. But still, my Phazon flooded into his body, and as he began physically recovering with a flare of my will, the massive form of my guardian flooded the area with a pool of pitch-black darkness that was dotted with shimmering blue eyes that formed in the pool of darkness as the guardian rose up, and with an earth-shaking thudding noise the guardian slammed a building-sized hand on Radahn's other shoulder, pinning him to the ground. Even with Radahn partially pinned on a hill on the side of us. It was almost funny, as he was still on his horse that was blearily looking around and towards me and my guardian with eyes filled with fog from old age and not being a demigod or tarnished. My Phazon pouring in through his shoulder wound finally reached his heart, and Radahn roared as with a powerful heartbeat I could feel my Phazon sent everywhere in his body, and with a mental flex I had the Phazon consume the rot within his body, including within his brain and all other organs, even if that left his innards with gaping wounds. As I could see, the great rune within his body within a moment, along with my efforts in healing him, were regrowing and renewing organs and lost biomass from Radahn's well of vitality and magical energy. Leonard. A ragged whisper escaped Radahn's mouth, and I cursed as I felt his heart flat line along with his brain activity going off. Don't die after all this work, damn it. I cursed. After a moment of hesitation I grabbed my sword that was buried in his shoulder, and then with a mental flex my form was engulfed in lightning as I cast a thunder spell with Radahn roaring as his heart and brain were jump-started violently. Yoo-hoo. Is Radahn here, or was that you just talking to your horse? I asked sarcastically, and I felt Radahn stiffen with his head slowly tilting to the side to look at me, with one of his large eyes landing on me who was standing on his shoulder. He looked at me with such utter confusion, and then he looked away down at his hands that were covered in rusted and dried blood from years of roaming the desert. Yes. My mind is whole now. Hearing that, I jumped off his shoulder with my feet sinking through the desert sand a good couple of inches as it broke my fall, but I wasn't paying that much attention to that as I was more focused on Radahn himself, who was blankly staring outwards. My name is Jake Barris. I introduced myself, and then with no answer I continued. I have also cleared the mind of your mother Renala, and reunited her with your sister Rune. If you are willing to come with us, I can help your friend Leonard get better, as he isn't doing that well. Radahn's face was like stone as he looked at me, and then he looked down at the emaciated form of Leonard who was below his folded-up legs. Rune is dead, so I don't believe you about that, and Mother was mentally shattered by Father leaving. He spoke softly with his deep voice as he ever so gently petted the head of Leonard, who was stoically holding his form up. I gave a wry smile at hearing that, and then explained the situation. Radahn, your sister Rune is still alive technically. Sure, she abandoned her demigod body, but she is still alive, having taken over a doll body, and I did clear your mind out of Malenia's rot, so your mother was treated just the same. There was a long moment of silence until finally Radahn spoke again with a weight in his voice. Why did you help me instead of slaying me for my great rune? Probably because I am going to be boinking your mother. Because I want that dollacy from your sister. I thought sarcastically before saying honestly. I am not from the lands between. Frankly, you guys literally ruined this world, so I literally cannot be bothered to become the Elden Lord. I am helping your family because I want them to join my own organization with their great talents, including yourself, Radahn. Radahn actually looked at me with some humor in his eyes as his voice rose seriously as he asked flatly. And what if I refuse to bow my knee to you? I gave myself a long look, and even as I felt A2 and Malenia coming closer, I answered with complete honesty. Should you refuse, that is fine. I have cured your mother of your loss of sanity, and I will be giving your sister a new body, so if you want to become the Lord of Nothing but Ashes, that is your choice. I won't stop you, Radahn. Though you will be left all alone as we leave this dead and broken world. Walking in front of Radahn, I looked up into his eyes and I said softly. Don't make your mom cry, Radahn. And your sister needs and misses you. And my words hit him right in the heart as I could see him shudder with his eyes closing before he slowly nodded and said quietly in defeat. Fine. I will give you a chance to prove your words. In turn I smiled, and with a wave of my hands I created a portal that A2 and Malenia walked through to stand beside me, and then with a small grunt of effort I opened up a much larger portal that left to Rune's rise where she was living. Well then, let's go see your family. I spoke while I wrapped an arm around A2's waist and I put a hand on Malenia's back, making her shiver in surprise as I walked through the portal with the two of them, with Radahn following behind me. And as my mana hit the area I could already feel the magical signature of Renala rushing towards us, and I grinned hearing her cry out, "Raddy! You are back."